Welcome back to our podcast, At Home on the Lakeshore, where we talk about home loans with our local home loan experts at UnitedOne Credit Union. My name is Mike, and welcome to episode number 30 of our At Home on the Lakeshore podcast. I'd like to welcome back in our local home loan experts, Carrie, Julie, Marla. Welcome back to the show. How are you all today?
Good. The sun is shining. Bring on the
Nice.
day.
Yeah, that's right. Summer vibes.
That's right. It took us a long time to get to summer, so I'm glad you're all enjoying it and that no one's over there like, oh, it's so hot,
Not yet.
Oh, I'm sure it'll come.
Oh, I'm sure. But it's just nice to have it. That's one beautiful thing about living where we do here in Wisconsin is we get the seasons, right? We get those changes. Yeah. We can have that weather where you can have that beautiful summer day to go for a walk or go for a bike ride or just be outdoors, and the appreciation of being able to do that when it's the winter months and we're all looking out our windows at that white stuff on the ground and going, oh my gosh. So if you're out there, even if it's hot, try to remember it beats being inside and stuck in the snow and things. So glad to have summer here. Glad to have all of you here with us because we got a great topic today for the show. Our topic today is do's and don'ts, what to do and what not to do when you start buying a home. So before we get into that great topic for today, though, I have just been reminded from, yes, the news desk is telling us that Julie is here and she has prepared a joke of the show. So Julie, please, our audience waits with bated breath.
Yes. I love it when the audience is asking for these because they're so good. So here we go.
Can't wait.
Why did the bird go to jail?
Talking about a jailbird, huh?
I don't know. Why? Yeah, why?
For robbing the bank.
Oh.
I'll be back next month.
Enter the symbol,
Yep. The gong show for the older listeners.
Hey, I remember that.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you for that one, Julie. Yes, that robin would be a jailbird for sure. And now that we've gotten that prerequisite out of the way, what some would say the essential elements of the show, we'll now move into the other part of the show that at least we all feel is essential, and that's the topic of the day. Why we're doing these podcasts, right? Yes. Why we're actually doing these podcasts.
It's not a joke? I thought it was.
Well, maybe that could be a spin-off show. You know how you had Friends and then there was a spin-off and you had some of these other shows and there was a spin-off.
A whole hour of Juliet.
Oh God, no.
like wasn't Frasier technically a spin-off of Cheers, So I mean it's like that could happen, Julie. Let's talk about that. We could talk about syndication.
Awesome. Sounds like I need to get somebody to help me write some contracts or something. Lawyers, yes.
Let's have your people talk to my people, and we'll see.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, before we go completely off the rails here, we should bring things back to today's topic: what to do and what not to do when buying a home. And if you would all agree, I think maybe we divide this into one section and then another, starting with the what not to do first, and then we'll come back to the to-dos. Well, what do you all think? Sound like a deal?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Sure.
Okay. So what not to do when you start the process of buying a home?
We don't want to scare anybody away, but things to just think about is one example is, are you looking at a different job? Are you being recruited for a different job? Even though you might be making more money, when we do mortgages, we are very, very paper heavy. Everything needs to come with a verification or a paper trail. So if we're in mid-process and we're 2 weeks away from buying a house and now you switch your job, Yeah, we need that pay stub. What happens if you don't have your pay stub before we close on the loan? Or what is your start date versus buying the house? So, because we have to verify that, if you are considering or you know that you are going to be switching jobs, please, please, please tell us in advance. Please talk it out with us. Like I said, even if it's more money, you would think not a big deal, but it's the verifications that come that we have to figure out before closing.
Another one
Okay.
is don't move your money around or make large cash deposits that we can't paper trail, verify, because we can't always use those funds for your closing costs and down payment if we can't show to the underwriter where those funds came from. Or, like if you're getting gift funds, give us time to get the gift fund documentation to you and signed. If you're taking money out of your retirement account, take it out soon enough that you know it's going to be in your account by the time we're signing papers. Things like that help.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
would say to avoid or don't make any large purchases that can affect your debt to income and it could change your approval. And if you're looking at buying furniture for the house or an appliance or something, those things can wait until after you move in.
Or discuss it. I mean, if you're
Mhm.
looking at, a car, obviously that's a bigger payment. But if it's just just some appliances, maybe that payment still will work. But again, we don't want surprises. As fun as it is to be surprised, these aren't the fun surprises. Then we have to try to figure things out and get statements and get, it's just everything is that paper trail.
Mhm.
Um, I know that this time of year we are heavy with rummage sales around town, so I always hesitate if you're selling something larger or cash. Even though cash has always been king, again, paper trail. We can't paper trail where that cash came from. So if all of a sudden you had a successful rummage sale and maybe sold some bigger equipment or, something along those lines, and there's a large deposit, that all comes in as cash. We typically can't use it because we don't know where it came from and it's not seasoned in your account for the 60 days, 90 days. Um, if it is a bigger item that you are going to sell, create a purchase contract or a bill of sale and have you as the seller and the buyer sign off on it so that we do have a paper trail. Um, I know weddings, sometimes that has turned into we got a lot of money for our wedding. Again, it's hard because it's cash. But in the past, I know that I was able to get a copy of the marriage license and a copy of their invite to say, okay, this deposit was within a week of this date. So sometimes there might be a little bit more running around or we're asking for different stuff just for that paper trail.
Mm.
I would say another one is don't ignore your processor or your lender. A lot of times there's a lot of documents that we need to collect or questions we need answered. And if we can't get a hold of you, if you're not responding, that could delay us getting to the closing. So definitely, when we're working through things, just be mindful of that.
That's a good
Agreed.
one.
Don't
That's,
delay in
yep.
bringing in your signed disclosures and your documents we request.
That's true. Any other don'ts that we want to add to that list that we can think of? Because again, it's like it's all about communication, right? So
Right.
if some of these things are happening, because some of them they might have been in the works for a long time, like a wedding or some of these other situations. So it's just communicating with us ahead of time so that we can help be prepared. Because what we don't want to have happen is you're partway through the process and then something comes up that we didn't know about that may delay your home buying journey. And that's really
Yeah.
what these warnings and these do not do's and that kind
Yep.
of thing is, to really just help you, the listener, right? Get
I
where you
Right.
thought of
want to go,
something now
right?
that you said that.
Ah,
If
yes.
if you're
I figured if I stalled long enough,
refinancing,
you would. Go ahead.
right? If you're refinancing, let's say, and taking out a mortgage, don't rip apart your house before we have the appraiser come
Oh,
through. If
yeah, good
like
one.
you're,
What?
sometimes we know you're taking the money out to do the remodel, but maybe wait to do the remodel until we're done with things because we've had appraisers go and into the house and you've already started demolition and your house is not going to be worth what you think it's going to be worth if we're doing that appraisal as is, if you already started tearing the kitchen out or the bathroom out. So always
Or
talk
True.
to us before
let
you
us
start demo.
know that
Right.
you have done that so we can talk about it
Yeah,
and
there's
prepare
other
that way.
avenues we can go down, but don't surprise us with it when the appraiser shows up.
Appraiser shows up. That three bedroom, three bath house is now just a 3 bedroom, 1 bath house as you guys
Right?
torn things apart.
And no
So
kitchen.
yeah. Yeah, no kitchen. Well, thank you for all those tips of what not to do or things to avoid as you're in that home buying or home refinancing process. So now we are going to shift gears to the things you should be doing, or what are some tips and tricks that are like these are the things that would help that process, that would be good to do. So we're now into the section of what to do when you are buying a home or refinancing or going through that mortgage process. So who wants to lead us off with one of our first to dos?
I can start. If you're buying a house and let's say your rent is pretty cheap right now and there's going to be a larger gap between what you pay now for rent and what your new house payment is going to be. One thing you can do ahead of time that definitely helps is show us that you have room in your budget for that bigger payment. Start a pattern of savings. So each check, if you're putting a couple $100 aside into the savings, showing, I may only pay 700 for rent now, but I can afford a $1,200 payment. That can go a long way sometimes if underwriting is on the fence about affordability and things like that. If they see a pattern of savings, it shows that you can afford that higher house payment.
That's a good one. That's really,
Mhm.
really good
Mhm.
to, and it's going to help you as the buyer, like prepare for doubling your rent or preparing that budget for, okay, we're used to making this, but now our payment's going to go up by $500. What does that do to our budget? What else is going to increase? Oh, you didn't have utilities. Maybe that was included in your rent. Well, now you're going to have utilities. So it's really good to be prepared, like Carrie said, make that difference in as a cash deposit, or not a cash. We don't want cash, as a deposit to
Right.
your savings account so that
And the other
it's
bonus is
showing you're
that's extra
ready.
money you can use
Right.
towards your down payment once you save up a
Yes.
little bit.
I agree. I agree. Like I've referenced before, we are paper heavy. So trying to keep those pay stubs, trying to get your 401k statements. If you don't know a username and password to get into your work portals or your 401k portals, start working on that because we're going to ask for it. We're going to ask for a pay stub. We're going to ask for a 401k statement or a different financial institution statement. So start gathering that information. Start like preparing for, yes, I'm going to need a pay stub. Yes, I'm going to need a bank statement. So if you do have to reach out to that employer, you have that information.
I have another good one. Don't plan vacation when you're supposed to be signing papers to purchase your home. I can't tell you how many times people sign a contract saying they are closing on a certain day, and then they tell us, oh, we're going to be out of town that week. Can we move up the closing? We of course will try all that we can to get that closed ahead of time if possible, but the mortgage process can take 30-ish days, sometimes a little longer if we run into bumps along the road, and we don't always have the ability to move it up a week or two because you're going to be on vacation on the day you said you were going to be buying a house. So that would help us.
That's a good
And
tip.
even during the process, if we have to get a hold of you and now you're on vacation and you can't provide documentation to us, those are also things that can hold up the process. So communicate that to us before you leave. Maybe avoid, like Carrie said, just avoid that vacation time or pushing things out maybe till after you buy, or just so that you're present during the process as well.
Kind of piggybacking off of that is like the communication side is, always reach out to us if you're considering something that could impact your finances. If closing a credit card, or if you're thinking, should I put this money towards paying off this debt, or does it make sense to save it and use it for something here? Like anything involving finances, it's always a good thing to reach out to us and just ask those questions. Because like we mentioned, there's so many ways that could impact things and this process. So if we can prevent any issues or help make things better, that's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We want you in that house as soon as possible too. We want to make it a smooth, easy transaction.
Nice. Especially with something this big, right? We're talking about buying a home here. Buying a vehicle is one thing, buying appliances or equipment or those other kind of things. But for many people, the home that's the biggest purchase you're ever going to make. And for some people, you might only do it this one time. So that's why working with the local experts here, we're here to help guide, help direct, and help you get and make that process as smooth and pain-free as possible. So really that's what it boils down to, is if you're in doubt about something, come talk to the experts, ask the questions so they can give you the answers. They have a beautiful team behind them as well. Our support team at UnitedOne for the mortgage team is also experts. They know their stuff forward and backwards and sideways and all the ways, really. So that's really, if you could only take one thing from this, I know we threw a lot at you, the do's, the don'ts, all of that, is that you have a team on your side. You have experts on your side. So if you're going through this process, and you're working with UnitedOne, we got you. And you have help. You have support, and just communicate that way. Is there any other items as we near the end of today's episode that we'd want to talk about, or that we maybe missed? One last to do, or even just one last note as we're covering some of the do's and don'ts during the home buying or home refinancing process?
Like Mike said, we're here. We don't want to scare you, but we're here. We are here to help you. And I think Carrie referenced it along the way too, is we want you in that house. So don't be afraid to reach out, to talk things out.
Nice.
Agreed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're all in this together. We want to help you get into that home, your home, and make that into whatever you want it to be. So thank you all very much for joining us today. Thank you to our experts at UnitedOne Credit Union. We encourage you to give us a like, rate us wherever you get your podcasts. Feel free to share our podcast with others. That would be awesome. You're welcome to follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, where you can find us at Facebook/UnitedOneCU. We're also on Instagram at UnitedOneCU. And until next time, thanks for being part of UnitedOne.